Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I started in the wrong place. I was going to start here and show you this cool graphic that I retweeted earlier. Know what you hodl. This is a XRP, X on a dime in there. Then I wanted to show you this, and I'm going to do a refresh so that we can look at the market. Market's at $1.787 trillion. We've got an XRP that's up 13%. It's touched 58, maybe and a half cents today. And I'm hoping that we can go ahead and bust through 60 cents today. That's what we want. Okay, now I saw this today. I'm going to do a refresh on this because this is Peter Brent, who's he's one of the longtime, what would you call him? Factor founder and CEO. Anyway, he's I think you'd call him like a chart guy in the traditional stock market. But he is here talking about Bitcoin and what the whole narrative is around Bitcoin. Listen to what he says.
Really, the bigger narratives of Bitcoin. I mean, the people who are betting long-term on Bitcoin really are betting that Bitcoin takes a place within the network and the structure of global reserve currencies. It becomes money.
Okay, once I saw this, I decided I should go back to this article I showed you in my last video. BIS chief blasts Bitcoin's viability. This is a direct quote from the article. His belief that Bitcoin fails as a currency, a medium of exchange, and a value storage mechanism, working only as a speculative asset and seldom as money. He's the guy that runs the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks. These are the people that run the world. I don't know how long the Bitcoin people want to keep their blinders on, but I'm showing you the truth. And when the history books are written, you're going to be sick to your stomachs if you think that Bitcoin is going to be allowed to come in and just replace the central banks and that it can't be controlled. That is bull. Do not believe that. That is not where this story ends, but I will show you where it does end. Here we go. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you is this. This is Deutsche Bank. Let me see who this guy is. I don't remember his title or whatever. Maybe it'll show us here in the video. Listen to what he says. This is the build-up. They're all talking. They're all doing this BIS summit right now.
Businesses, banks, and other private actors are pressing ahead.
His name is Jens Weidmann, president of the Deutsche Bank, Bundesbank. Now, he is one of the speakers at the BIS summit. Listen to what he says.
Innovative digital solutions that serve the needs of consumers. In the financial sector, central banks can play an active role in shaping the digital transformation by enhancing their payments infrastructures, by facilitating supervision in real time, or by strengthening cybersecurity. In the same vein, we are currently exploring the benefits and risks of a digital central bank currency within the Eurosystem. Digital innovation is not an end in itself. It allows central banks to fulfill their tasks more effectively and efficiently. That's why central banks need to be open-minded and ready to collaborate. In the Eurosystem, we know how to achieve a common purpose. The BIS Innovation Hub Centers represent an excellent network for mutual learning and developing new solutions that will improve the resilience and performance of tomorrow's financial system for the benefit of the people of Europe and around the world.
Okay, so they're all speaking at this BIS summit. Bank of International Settlements. Central banks are not approaching central bank digital currencies as a race. A CBDC cannot fail. There's no room for mistakes, Augustin Karsten said at the opening. Now, as you go down, they did a whole thread here. Central banks are reflecting carefully on introducing CBDCs because of the range of trade-offs and side effects. And that's the guy in the video you just saw. A dollar CBDC would have large implications around the world, and we will consult widely before we even approach a decision on this, Jerome Powell at the opening of this summit. And then down here it says, it is important to consider the side effects of the current events on payments, credit, and income. Inequality is not conducive to good results or good policies. Karstens. The current events underscored the importance of an inclusive payment system. Who uses this word all the time? That would be Ripple. Words mean things. And then they said, in case you missed it, this session will be repeated, So here's all these people from the BIS. This looks like a thumbnail to me. Now, this is the BIS Innovation Summit. I showed you this last week, the speakers. I showed you some connections here. Why not show you again? All the World's a Stage, the final act, a picture thread. I showed you this one with Brad Garlinghouse on stage with this Ross Leclow, who's the Deputy General Counsel from the IMF. He's a speaker. That's him. Then I showed you Augustin Karstens right here. Brad Garlinghouse right here. This was the Swiss bank conference they were in. Augustin Karstens runs the BIS. He's there. Then I showed you this. This is Sheila Warren. She was at Ripple's Swell this year, and she's a speaker at the BIS. Then I showed you this one where Kahina Van Dyke, who was at Ripple, and she's and Brad Garlinghouse said she'll be a node on the network away when she left to go to Standard Chartered. She's also a speaker there. Then we had Piyush Gupta, who was at Swell 2019. He's a speaker there. Then we had Christine Lagarde. She was in the room with Brad Garlinghouse too in Switzerland. She's a speaker there. But that's not it. We're just getting started. Let's go back and look again. Let's go down here. Here's a speaker, Benedicte Nolans. She is the head of BIS Innovation Hub. And you remember this old classic picture? Remember this picture where you have Brad Garlinghouse. This is at the IMF High-Level Advisory Group of the IMF's Departmental Working Group on Finance and Technology. Brad Garlinghouse was in the room. There's Ross Leclow that was on stage with Brad Garlinghouse. Here's Jessie Chang, who I've shown many times, who was at Ripple. She came from, it was like a revolving door. She came from like the Fed and then went to Ripple and then went back to the Fed and then at some point to the IMF. Okay, you get the picture. Then there's Christine Lagarde, who's a speaker at the BIS Innovation Hub, and that is that Benedicte N. Nolan's Circle FinTech. So remember who I've told you over and over is in the game and who was on the high-level advisory board. It goes back to that high-level advisory board at the IMF. Circle was there. Ripple was there. Stellar is also in the game, and I will show you how in a second. So let's go back to our picture. So this is the girl that was standing beside, or the lady that was standing beside Christine Lagarde in that picture. Okay? Who else do we have? Let me see who else we have coming up. Well, TransferWise. What does TransferWise have to do with anything? Well, this lady right here, Diana Avila, is a speaker there. She's the global head of banking at TransferWise and part of the leadership team leading to international expansion of the company. Okay? TransferWise. Well, this is from Panda Ripple XRP back in 2019. TransferWise announced partnership with Visa Direct. And to those who are wondering what has this got to do with Ripple or RippleNet, check out the tweets below. Visa acquires Earthport in May 2019. Visa said that Earthport's technology will enable it to expand and scale the Visa Direct portfolio, which includes funds disbursements, peer-to-peer payments, cross-border payments, marketplace payouts, and bill payments. And Ripple has partnered Earthport since 2014. Earthport's customers will be able to leverage Ripple's friction-free cross-border payment solution and benefit from lower liquidity management costs, all while maintaining the robust standards of compliance that regulators expect. And then there's the article, official link to Ripple and Earthport partnership. So, back to this. So she is the global head of banking at TransferWise. Well, what else could this possibly have to do with? Well, how about this? Ryan Zagone. He's the guy that made it all happen from a regulatory standpoint for Ripple. He was the early guy that ran the regulatory department at Ripple. I'm excited to share that I am the new head of Americas for TransferWise for banks. In other words, Ryan Zagone is now a node on the network away from Ripple as well, it looks like to me. We're helping banks quickly adapt to a digital world with a TransferWise experience consumers love. Radically transparent, fast, cheap. It's an honor to join such an amazing team and help build on our legacy of redefining payments. Who is this? Lindsay Grossman, Director of Product from, Director of Product. She was at TransferWise, past at Netflix and Stripe. Remember that name, Stripe. Has joined the North America Head of Product, bringing experience, So, she's there too. All right. Now, who's up next? We all remember Mark Carney, don't we? He was the head of the Bank of England, who was a paid Ripple customer per Brad Garlinghouse, right? Well, look where he is on the board. Stripe welcomes Mark Carney to its board of directors. Okay, this was back February 2021. All right, and then we have this. Since Stripe's earliest days, we've believed the world needs simpler and more open protocols for moving money. We launched our Bitcoin beta 4 months ago, and we recently published some of our thoughts around cryptocurrencies. Today, we're excited to see the launch of Stellar, a new open source project and nonprofit organization to which we've provided seed funding. So Stripe funds Stellar. Okay, now let's see if we have any other. Okay, that's the end of all my little connections there that I wanted to show you. Wanted to remind you there's 1 day left to win your share of $50,000 prize pool on Binance Collect and Win promo for Women's History Month. Trade Kava and Hard on Binance and win. There's a link. I put a link to this Kava's website and a link to this contest at the bottom or at the top of the description of my video. Go check that out. And then finally, I wanted to show you this. This is from Axios, which happens to be the same company that ran that interview of Brad Garlinghouse on HBO about a week or two ago. It says, just in, Leon Black is out at Apollo Global Management, the private equity and debt giant he co-founded in 1990, just 2 months after the conclusion of an independent investigation into his interactions with you-know-who. Okay, then I tweeted this out because this is from the article. He quits, and look who replaces him. Black accelerated the CEO switch today and said the chairman role will now be assumed by former SEC chair Jay Clayton, and he's leaving because of you-know-who and his connections to him. I wanted to show you this tweet. Walter Bloomberg, Fed's Powell, crypto assets more like gold than the dollar. Interesting stuff. Then Crypto Dim sent me this one. Judy Shelton, level playing field. Would private sector competition deliver a better product? ? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Oh, by the way, after I showed you all that all of the BIS and all those connections, my 8-year-old wanted to ask you a question.
Do I need to draw you a picture?
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that my son has a question for them.